Dreadnaught back at you. We're gonna weigh in on Zimmerman just a little bit. He's turning out to be a pretty interesting dude. If you look at some of his actions here recently, and then you look back at what occurred before the situation, it sheds a lot of a light on how the situation might have occurred and went down.
He's just another reality goofball, man. He's just another 15 minutes of fame and can't let it go.
Multiple speeding tickets. This thing with his wife right now where she called about a domestic dispute because, surprise, surprise, he was coming at her with a gun.
And a knife, apparently.
No, okay, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he pried the iPod open with a knife or something. But my problem with Zimmerman is, nothing to do with gun rights.
Guns very quick.
Nothing to do with gun rights. Nothing to do with picking sides. Because again, we do not try to pick sides on this show. It's not our thing. Just facts. People were too quick to back him up. People were too quick to, But again, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. I look at both sides of things. People were too quick to say racial shit, and so they kind of helped him get off by jumping so quickly to
to the race thing,
not so much to the race thing.
He's defending himself.
It's hard to say, dude. Just they made it racial too quick instead of it being about the law, and that's what it should have been about. Should George Zimmerman ever gotten out of the car? No. Should he even been following Trayvon Martin? No.
The story would have come out completely different if they never would have announced the race of either of the two individuals.
And both people jumped. Like, what was it, 2 weeks after the KKK offered to give him protection and came out with their support, and that kind of
that just makes it look bad right there.
Boy, and then that kind of got swept under the rug.
That's how you know that you're coming off like that.
But then, and quiet as kept, some Americans don't. So I'm not gonna say all, but you got a large group of Americans. It's like it's black hunting season. Like anytime you feel threatened by a black person, you can shoot somebody. And you remember I was sending you the news articles. Like 6, 7 people got shot.
Yeah. After that,
in pretty much the same way. People want to scream, "Stand your ground." You can't. Dude, I'm gonna shake my head about it because it's fucking ridiculous. The kid in Jonesboro, who while handcuffed in the back of a police car, shot himself in the head. Take that how you want to. Research it, look it up. Jonesboro, Arkansas. Can't remember the kid's name right now because I'm a victim of media also, and if I don't hear it 37 times, I'm not going to remember his name, which is why we remember George Zimmerman, and we're going to continue to remember.
A lot of weird stuff happens with police too, though. Like a dead lady was found in the back of a unmarked patrol car, and they've been sitting there for 3 days somewhere in Missouri, close to St. Louis. The guy
that kept jumping around in Benton County, and he starved to death in police custody.
I wouldn't eat that food either, though.
The chunks. And we were talking about something earlier. I want just off subject, but on subject, because I want people to think about this. There's a common sense of thought that we couldn't live in the Andy Griffin era because criminals have gotten so bad. We're of a common thought that maybe criminals have gotten so bad because we don't have Andy Griffin type police that will try to talk to people and think it out. Andy Griffin time frame is Al Capone, the original drive-bys and moonshiners who didn't give a shit.
Yeah, and you got to take the environment that the people involved in these things into account, like how they grew up. Like Zimmerman, for instance. I mean, it's almost like you can't use like an overall law. I mean, just the actions that Zimmerman has taken recently. I mean, it kind of shows. Like, was anyone surprised that? You might have been surprised that his wife called about a domestic dispute, but then were you really surprised it had to do with a gun?
No, because a few weeks ago he was going to gun shows and things. Man, people they've made him an American hero.
Well, his mom is a judge, so I mean he obviously grew up.
I thought it was his dad.
Or is his dad a judge?
My point being, he's a folk hero. And a folk hero for what? He is put in the same genre as Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett.
Can make a
I don't even know. You know what I mean? But he is an American folk hero. And for what? For shooting a little black kid? Really? That's what you become a hero for now? That is ridiculous. That is so insulting that I can't even touch on. I wasn't there. You all weren't there. We don't know what happened. I do know that in my life, a person with a gun is a hell of a lot braver than a person without one. And I don't know too many people just gonna throw a punch on somebody that they know has a gun. That's just me. I mean, maybe y'all know people braver than I know, but I don't know too many people finna fight somebody hand to hand and they know they got a gun. But.
And if you are being confident for that reason and you're not in the wrong, you should probably announce that that's why you're so confident.
Or that's why you're following somebody. Hey, I'm neighborhood watch. You look suspicious. What's going on? As opposed to, hey, what are you doing here? Where are you going? Because I'm not going to answer that question nicely. Leave me the hell alone while you following me.
Going back to the environment, look how Trayvon, look what environment he came up in. See, those two people, the environments that they came from, those were almost the worst two combinations to come together.
It's the perceived environment. It's the and that's what happens.
True, yeah.
It's the perceived environment. It's what George Zimmerman perceived Trayvon Martin to be. It's what America, by people twisting things, perceived him to be. Because he smoked weed here, criminal. You might want to check your kid's closet, homeboy. Half the people that said that, trust me, your kid's doing way worse shit than weed. Sorry.
Barack Obama used to smoke weed too.
So?
And George Bush.
Personally, I don't trust somebody that hasn't ever smoked weed.
Bill Clinton. He didn't inhale though. Well, it is kind of crazy that if those three past presidents I just named would have been caught with weed, they wouldn't have been president.
No. Okay, if you want to say that, I got one for you. If one of the three people you name, who'd you name?
The last three presidents.
Okay.
All three of them have openly come out and said they smoked weed.
If Bill Clinton had been busted with weed before, he might have, because he is slick talking motherfucker. He really would have got off.
Bush, the charge, you think?
Bush, his daddy and his family would have got him off. I'm pretty sure he got busted more than that meantime.
Probably.
With worse shit than weed.
Just like any
now, if Obama,
governors,
if President Obama, and we are going to say President Obama on the show because that's how you title the person, not just by his name.
No, shouldn't you say Black President Obama? Mixed
president, multiracial, yeah. The president. Period. If he got caught smoking weed, dude, it'd been a wrap. It'd have been, oh my God, oh my, he wouldn't even made the Congress. Seriously. Because there was no money behind him to back him. There was no cover-up. There was no long family lineage of this is okay. And that's, again, it's a problem with a lot of our political figures, what people don't understand is these are fathers to sons, to family ties that have never really had to deal with the things that normal Americans that they claim to be a part of have had to deal with. And anything they did wrong that would ruin the normal person's life was just a slap on the wrist and, oh, he didn't. Let him get away with it.
Yeah.
That's when the people making the laws don't have to live by the laws, that shit's crazy.
We know from hometown experience that if your dad's a congressman or a senator or a governor, that you can get away with it. But that's neither here nor there. Just when you're watching the news, keep in mind the terms they use to describe certain situations and try to keep an open mind about it.
And understand this, and I'm hoping some of y'all, like, we're going to put this out to our Facebook friends and hopefully they'll join us. And just people in large, but you keep this in mind. Fox is not new. Fox is entertainment. Now, do they happen to sneak up on some news from time to time? Maybe. But MSNBC, all of them, none of them are news anymore because they've been taking Fox lead. Anything you hear us say, research it yourself. Look for it for yourself. Find out the facts for yourself. Don't go off what somebody on camera says, man. If you're fighting for your rights in America, that's the worst thing you can do because that's your truest right. Is the ability to make your own damn decisions.
But you could be labeled a terrorist for that, so watch out.
What's the difference between a terrorist and a revolutionary?
There's not one.
Exactly, because our founding father was some terroristic motherfucker. And I said our founding fathers. All ours. I'm an American. Not an African American, an American. You like that? Got serious with it?
Another interesting thing to note is keep in mind when you're, you don't really hear like European American or that's the only, whenever you say American, people have the stigmatism of a white. If it's any other American, we'll have to add.
And see, that's what's funny. Americans have that stigmatism. If you go anywhere else, we are all lumped into the same thing. I'm an American.
Yeah.
I'm more American in Korea or someplace than I am in my own country. That's retarded.
Well, also, like, Mexican American, that's somewhat of an oxymoron because Mexico is part of the Americas, right?
That's where Columbus landed.
Aren't Mexicans Americans to begin with?
Technically, Columbus landed in Mexico. He didn't land in America. So, go figure that one. Oh, I'm sorry. The United States of America. Interesting facts. That's what we need to get. We're going to have our anthropologist here for a few of these episodes, hopefully, or at least have his input. And there's a lot of things. And any of you all that want to be involved, man, you can Skype in. Whatever we can do to accommodate you getting your opinion out. We will help. We want as many opinions. We want to do everything we can, again, to bring people closer together. And not that huggy, kissy, hippie stuff, but legitimate arguments and conversations that bring enlightenment. Sometimes, you need to argue with people. You need to bump heads to get to a good point. Not fighting in fisticuffs, but...
And you should be willing to listen to everybody's opinion. That's why we're encouraging you guys to make video responses or leave comments.
You learn more from fools than you ever learn from a genius. Very lame.
It is.
Alright, so that's Dreadnaught episode 3.
Stay classy, YouTube.
Wow, he went there with that too.
I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, get us